Welcome to another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes. I'm your host, Bill Berger, and today's show is being brought to you by the Wellington Music Store, located at 117-119 on West Herrick in downtown Wellington. Today is Soccer Day, and today we're going to be talking with all the both the boys and the girls soccer team, representatives thereof. To my immediate right, we have Dustin and Dulcic, a senior this year. He's a one-sport athlete. And this gentleman to my immediate left, Josh Wright, he did this last year, so he's an old hand at Dialogue with the Dukes, also a one-sport athlete. So, gentlemen, welcome. I would have to say that this year, even though it's been a tough year for the boys soccer team, it's been measurably better, I think. As we'll talk about a little bit later, we've doubled our wins this year. We even had a tie this year. And we're looking forward to the tournament that's coming up, I believe, next Monday against a team that we're going to be playing this year before the end of the year, that being Oberlin. So welcome to you both. My first question is going to go to Josh. We want to give a shout out to all the other team members between Josh and Dustin today. So who are the other team members on the team this year?
Yeah, so we've got Caleb Caswell, Gabe Toth, Robert Barnes, Aiden Mamani, Logan Cruson, Spencer Brzee, Zach Barnes, Jonas Stump, Dean Phillips, Maxwell Schatz, Gabe Hiroshik, Connor Norton, Eddie Abram, and then we've got me and Dustin.
Exactly. And our coaches this year are?
Will Pat and Andrew Dooley.
Mm-hmm. Just as an aside question, because Andrew just graduated a couple years ago, how has he helped, shall we say, the learning curve or whatever with the team this year? Because he just recently graduated, has he been able to associate better with you all?
Yeah, it's almost a little more relatable.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word I wanted. Related.
Yeah, it's a little more relatable to have him as he's younger and he is more recently out of his soccer seasons himself, so it's helpful to kind of have him on our level a little more.
Well, needless to say, we talked about the fact that we've doubled our wins this year. Dustin, what challenges were presented to the team this year? Having only won 2 games last year, obviously there had to be some challenges involved with the fact, and it's been successful this year. What has actually happened to make the team better?
Well, I mean, we got a bunch more guys this year than we have had in the past few years, and we've really been putting in the work with conditioning, all season. I think that's a big part of it. We've been more focused as a team too, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said there were more people.
Yeah.
How is that recruitment actually taking place? Are you just going amongst people that may have had some experience in soccer?
Yeah, I mean that, and if whoever our buddies are, just ask them if they want to come out and try it. If it sticks with them, good.
Mm-hmm. Well, Justin, we've alluded to the fact that last year was a really hard year. This year, it's been tough, but it's been better. So, how has the team actually improved? What has happened to make the team improve over last year?
I think the biggest improvement is actually working as a team more than as individual players.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah.
We are much better with passing the ball and working together as a team to move it down the field versus individual players being able to get through other individual players.
Mm-hmm. Well, last year I know I asked the question of what constitutes an offside. We won't go through that because I still haven't figured that out yet. Dustin, do you think it's been a successful year, or do you think there's still room for improvement?
I mean, a bit of both, honestly. Like you said, we've showed a lot of improvement with winning. Obviously, there's still areas we can improve more with communication and overall fitness. But I think we're going on the right track to becoming even better as a team.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you're both seniors, so you don't get to see what the results are and how it's going to improve, other than coming back and watching a soccer game next year.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, we've already talked about the fact that we have improved this year. What do you? Let's see. How am I going to say this? Describe this year's soccer season, starting at the beginning, bringing in new people and so on, up to the point where we're actually hosting a tournament game this year.
Well, I think we have really improved, and the beginning of the season, I actually did see an improvement versus the beginning of the season last year, but the end of the season last year versus this end of the season there's a huge difference.
Did it help that, other than the people that graduated, did it help that you knew each other so much better from last year versus this year? And you know, knowing what their abilities are, and then going to the recruits and seeing the improvement there.
Yeah, I think it's really important to kind of know your team and work together like
Sure.
that.
Exactly. Well, I could have asked this to Josh, but you were the one that gets it. As a senior, how have you motivated the other players, and maybe motivated Josh?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a tricky question because I mean, anybody on the team can motivate, anybody. It's whoever really steps up, and tries to show the new kids, what to do, set the example, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Setting the example. That may be one of the biggest things. But how do you motivate them? Because they know what their last year's record was. How do you say, we're going to be better this year? How are you going to do that?
I mean, I just constantly encourage my teammates, I let them know what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and how to improve on it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Justin, we're going to give a shout out to Coach. Coach Paps was the Coach of the Year last year in Lorain County 8th League. So where do you go from there? Literally, as you're Coach of the Year. Now you've got to improve upon that. So how did Coach actually? In fact, we can go with both coaches if you want to. How did both coaches motivate the team this year to do better, especially since Coach was Coach of the Year last year?
I think.
Did he do anything better, or did he do anything different?
Yeah, a lot better this year was just the communication versus what we do wrong and how to fix it.
Okay. Now, I noticed last year that Coach Paps. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was very little negative aspect in the games last year. You may have lost by a big score, but he was picking out the good things, and there was very little negativity.
Yeah.
So, was there some negativity in the respect of, okay, this was not good, this is how you improve? Did he do that this year?
Yeah, he's very positive, and he is really good at pulling out all the positives out of a game to make us feel like, hey, we still got a shot for the next game. Like, now we know to do this to do better. And it makes it a lot better, especially having such a young team and new people that don't have a lot of experience, because we don't win all the time. So it does make it better on us.
Here's a question to both of you. You play Oberlin, your last game,
Yeah.
and guess who you play in the tournament? Oberlin.
Yep.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think, Josh?
I think it could be a really good thing.
Okay, how about you, Dustin?
I think so as well. I mean, we're all pretty hyped up to try and beat them tomorrow, actually, and then again on Monday.
Yeah. Do you think there's a chance that any bad blood could enter into a game? Especially if, as you said, if we win, we go into the tournament, on the winning side. Any bad blood, or is everything, because I've seen other teams who have a lot of bad blood.
Right.
So playing Oberlin twice in a row, is there any bad blood, or is this just a really good thing?
I think it depends, honestly. I mean, tournaments are anybody's game, but if there are certain players who might cause problems, on Wednesday, they might, carry over on Monday.
Right.
But I mean, we'll try and keep it straightened out.
Yeah, that's good. Well, last question. Beyond wins, and like I said, we've already doubled plus a tie. What does the future look like for next year? And I know neither of you are going to be there, but what's the future look like?
I really think this year especially we did a good job with our coach has always setting the tone, make sure I don't even know that we're doing what we need to do and we're doing it right. So.
Well, and it's good that this year you've been able to get through, knock on wood, but you've been able to get through this year without any more shoulder problems, which plagued you last year. So obviously this year has been a much better year for you. Well, we'd like to thank both Josh and Dustin for coming in and talking about boys soccer. And even though it's been a tough year, it's still been an improvement over last year, and I think a lot of credit goes to both Josh and Dustin as seniors on the team this year for lack of a better term, setting a good example for the team this year and being able to do much better, I think, much better this year versus last year. So once again, we will be back again with the girls soccer team in just after this message. This is Dialogue with the Dukes. Welcome back to Dialogue with the Dukes. Today's show is being once again brought to you by the Wellington Music Store, located at 117-119 West Herrick in downtown Wellington. We hope for all your music needs, you do decide to visit the Wellington Music Store. During the first segment, we talked to both Josh and Dustin about the boys soccer team this year. Now we have the girls team. And to my immediate right, we have Savannah Gunder. She is a junior this year. And we have Felicia Lundy. She's a senior this year. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for coming in and talking about the girls soccer team this year. Again, like the boys, it's been a tough year. As we're going to be talking about, we did lose 5 very talented seniors. And so it's been, a really hard year for the girls, I'd have to say. So Felicia, I want to at least shout out to all the girls that are on the team. Who are the other members of the team that were, besides you and Savannah, that were playing this year?
We have Haley Harper, Madison Odom, Tess McDonald, Jacqueline Krackenberger, Nadia Greer, Whitney Kirshner, Camilla Penzone, McKenna Stahl, Harper Fleming, Chloe Helms, Amariana Greer, and Brooklyn Regal.
Very good. Captains this year were?
We have Savannah Gunder, Whitney Kirshner, and Nadia Greer.
Very good. And let's make a shout out to Whitney. Being the goalie this year, she had a special award given to her. What was that?
That was for having amazing defense in the game. Defense is always important, and she only let one goal go by her at our Saturday game.
That was against Brookside, is that right?
Brookside.
Yeah, and we won 5-1, I think was the final score. Yeah, she had a tremendous game. Well, Savannah, I know this is a hard question. I know it is. Do you consider this year to be a rebuilding year or a survival year?
Honestly, I consider this year to be rebuilding. We lost 5 talented seniors, but I feel like it started off a little rocky for us. We lost a few girls that we also recruited new from this year, but I feel like as a team we really rebuilt, and I feel like there's been key games that we've really stuck together and we've built off of that, and yesterday was definitely one of them.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to bring it up, yeah.
Yes, yesterday's game was we lost, but it was such a great game for us. We built together, and that was the best game we've definitely had all season.
Yeah, and playing a team like the Independence, that's a much bigger team,
Yes.
much larger team, much more people to choose from, and the fact that you only lost 3-2, I think certainly a feather in the girls' caps yesterday. Well, Felicia, we've already mentioned the fact we lost 5 very talented seniors. Every one of them was a first teamer. So how did the team approach this year? Forgetting the fact that we lost those seniors.
We all just tried to strive to be better for ourselves and be better for the team. Yes, we lost those seniors, but that doesn't stop us from also having a great season of our own.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had to work hard and really put in the effort to want to be as great as that.
Yeah, and the fact that, again, against Independence yesterday, I didn't get to go to the game, but it sounds like the team really came together. And the fact that, just losing by 1, it not only shows the defense is good, but the offense is good too. So that's really good. Well, Savannah, you're one of the captains on the team. What do you feel that your duties are as the captain?
As a captain, my duties are to bring the team up when we get down, make sure everybody's giving their 100%, and to get the best out of people. Also to bring the team together more, and not everybody wants to step up and do the hard parts of being a captain, so you have to make sure as a captain you step up and do those.
This is a question that I have no idea what the answer is. At halftime, when you all are around in a little circle and so on, I'm sure Coach has something to say. Do you ever have an input? Or Whitney? Or who am I missing? Nadia, yeah. Do any of the 3 of you have any inputs? Or is it just captain, the coach talking?
Yes, me, Nadia, and Whitney do have an input, but so does the rest of the team. Everybody,
Okay,
if
good.
they have something to say, they are allowed to say it.
Good.
And we just kind of, first coach kind of gives us like an opportunity, like, what do you guys think needs to be done? And he lets us kind of discuss it so that way we can hear from like our own teammates
Oh, good.
the different like things that we
Mhm.
think we need to work on. And then he comes in and he gives in like a little bit of his advice, or he like feeds off of something somebody
Mhm.
else says.
Mhm.
So that everybody on the team kind of gives their
Yeah.
input.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Felicia, what kind of goals were set this year? If there were any goals that were set, or was it just playing each game one at a time?
Be your 1/11th of the team. Like, you can't just carry the team on your back. Sometimes you need the people around you to help you build and move those obstacles on the field. So just do your part and let everything fall in line smoothly instead of trying to just do it so chaotically to where it just all falls apart.
We've already touched on it a little bit. It's almost tournament time. We play on, is it Saturday? Yes, it's Saturday. Yeah, we play on Saturday against Oberlin, just like the boys are playing their next game against Oberlin. So looking forward to it. What is the, shall we say, the attitude on the team, or what's the feeling on the team, knowing that we're going to play Oberlin tomorrow, and then going right into tournament time? The fact that it's something kind of new, but it's different, isn't it?
Yes. I think it's kind of a start to a new season during tournament time, but it also kind of helps us to play them Wednesday and then turn around and play them Saturday, because we have practice Thursday and Friday, and it's such like a short time to play a team back to back that we kind of have time to work on things that we need to improve that we like learned that Oberlin did on Wednesday, to turn around and use them and shut them down in those exact ways on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like one of the guys said, it's a whole new season.
Yes.
Whole new season. So it'd be great if we could continue on, win, and continue on in the tournament. Well, Felicia, is your last question. You're a senior. And we only have, how many seniors do we have this year? Three. Okay, so as one of the seniors, how did you motivate your fellow underclassmen this year?
Well, I always tried to say inspirational quotes to them to like boost, just to give them good energy, especially when I was out and I was sitting on the sidelines. I would always be screaming things on the field to help them keep their heads up and never like give up on the ball, just to keep them going, because I know how it feels to just be in a space of like in your head too much. So it's always nice to have that nice thing going in one ear while you're feeling that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, Savannah, unlike Felicia, you get to be back next year, and you're going to have 5 other seniors with you. Like half the team is going to be seniors next year. So what's the outlook look like? What's the future look like? And will that help recruiting? And is anybody coming up from the pipeline?
We might have 1, maybe 2 coming up as incoming freshmen. But I think that, yes, half our team is seniors, but we also have our underclassmen too that we are going to rely on, and that are just as skilled as us upperclassmen, and that are also going to put their 1/11th into the team and help us become a winning team and make our way back to the top.
Yeah, and the fact that you now, after this year, will have, for the sophomores, will have 2 years under your belt. Now you become seniors, so just the idea of the experience alone has to make the outlook much rosier than, shall we say, this year. Well, once again, we'd like to thank Felicia and Savannah for coming in and talking to us about the girls soccer team this year. And even though it's been a tough season, tournament time is coming up, just like Felicia and Savannah said, and it's a brand new season, so we wish both the boys team and the girls team lots of luck come tournament time. This has been Dialogue with the Dukes.
Does your instrument all of a sudden stop working properly? Fear not, Wellington Music is here.
My trumpet isn't working. It seems to be, it's not playing.
I can fix this. Give me about a half an hour and I think you'll see a totally different trumpet.
With a wide selection of guitars, such as classic acoustic, electric guitars, and amps in much variety. We also have a variety of band instruments and keyboards for your pleasure.
Cool, I hope you're happy.
Thank you, Wellington Music.
Come down to Wellington Music today.